I'm gonna turn this brightness up some. Hopefully that makes it better. Maybe, okay. Maybe not so bright. Is that too bright? Nah, it's like kind of, sort of. Yeah, that should be straight. Alright, cool. Alright, what's going on, you guys? It's your boy 3 Stacks in this thing, baby, representing Team Kings of Games. And today I'm going to be coming at you guys with that Savage deck that I was talking about. So the decks I've been talking about, slowly but surely, they've been coming together. It's talking about building Plunder Patrol. Finally got that amazing deck. Shout out to my best friend Isaac. He actually made this field center of me and my wife. It's wonderful. It's crazy. So we got Glad Beast. Thanks to a good friend of mine who reached out to me on YouTube, the comment section, and he ended up messaging me on Facebook and stuff. He ended up, we made a transaction to get Ultra-Geist, Gladiator Beasts, and my best friend's traded me his Ancient Warriors for my UA. So I won't have UAs for a while, but I got Ancient Warriors, Gladiator Beasts, Ultra-Geist, and I finally was able to put together Abyss Actors. So these are all decks that either have never been showcased on my channel or have been showcased probably in the past 2 or 3 years, so it's been long overdue for an update. But Gladiator Beast in particular, this deck has not been showcased. I'm not going to lie, there's extra deck cards that I'll be playing if I had them, so I'm kind of working with what I got. You could consider them like budget replacements, so to speak, but I don't have like Appaloosa or Access Kotak or IP Masquerena. The Appaloosa you saw me using on my channel, I was actually borrowing that. So there's certain expensive cards in the extra deck, really, and 2 cards in the main deck that I don't have, but I have everything else. So I can showcase you guys how I feel that I'd be playing Gladiator Beast if I was to take it anywhere. At first I was going to put hand traps, then I ended up taking them out for this cool package I'm going to show you guys. So we're going to get started with the main deck. This deck's actually really insane. If you guys watched that video, I was talking about 20 different, basically like rogue/sleeper strategies. This was one of them. So starting off with monsters, we're playing 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit. Rescue Rabbit, you guys, this card's insane. Hold on real quick. Let me turn this TV down. My daughter's watching something. I'm going to turn this down. Alright, my bad, you guys. So yeah, I have to turn the TV down. So Rescue Rabbit in this deck, basically how this deck can go off out of nowhere, really, is just by making Test Panther and basically having a body on field to tag. So because Rescue Rabbit accomplishes 2/3 of that, what you need, well, essentially it accomplishes everything because you can search comeback and use comeback to basically tag into something like one of the Andos, and you could use the Test Panther essentially. Because this is a beast and Ando's a beast warrior, so you can still tag into the Ando, and essentially you could shuffle it back, which sets you up for more Rabbit future plays, and you could tag out into something like, for example, like the Augustus if you have an extra card in hand. So this could be full combo by itself. It just depends on the composition of your hand, but because it accomplishes so much by yourself, regardless of how susceptible it could be to hand traps, you kind of just have to play it because there's no more consistent 1-card combo that you can play in this deck. Some tips that I would give you for playing around this deck's this card being a choke point for this deck is I recommend playing Call by the Grace. Even though it's not a combo piece, it does make sure that your plays can go through, because hand traps can cripple combo decks. Since this is a dedicated combo deck that's able to go second, you want to play protection for hand traps. Another card that I can recommend to you guys to make sure your Rescue Rabbit goes through is Midfield Breaker, because Gladiator Rejection will protect your Gladiator Beast, but it won't protect Test Panther nor Rescue Rabbit, and those are the cards that are the weakest to Imperm. If you play Gladiator Beast, you'll understand that Imperm can kill your turn when it hits Rescue Rabbit or Test Panther at any instance. The final piece of advice I'll give you guys, I know it's like, you guys, if you don't want the advice, you don't have to listen to it. The final piece of advice I'll give you is if you have Successions, I would play 2 to 3 of it, because if your Rabbit gets Impermed, you can actually link it off into Salamangreat Almarash, and then activate the Succession to bring this back, and then banish it and summon the 2 Ondos anyways. Then you make a Test Panther with an actual extra monster on field for you to be able to tag, and you play to the Imperm, and you actually, by playing through the Imperm, get full combo basically. So those are all my basically my tips for Rescue Rabbit being a choke point and Test Panther being a choke point, because I've studied this deck and I know where its weaknesses lies. So I built the deck to be able to circumvent for those weaknesses. Certain cards I don't have, like I don't have the Successions, but I definitely would play 2 to 3 of them if I had them, because that instance with Rescue Rabbit can actually really help you to just play through that Imperm, and that could potentially be game. Next up, the cord that I got from my friend, he actually only had 2 Test Tigers. I feel like this deck should play 3, because no matter what, whether you're using the effect or not, if you read it, it's a free extender. And any Glad Beast plus any monster basically makes Test Panther, and that's essentially almost full combo, depending on the composition of your hand. So I feel like there's no reason to not play 3, even if you feel like it's a neg 1 just to resolve the effect. Then don't resolve the effect, just use it as an extender to make your Test Panther. So honestly, Test Tiger, there's no reason to not play 3. I would definitely play 3 if I had it. So these cards are super vital. They're not actually God Beast names, but they're super duper important. I'm going to get into the Glad Beast monsters, but I'm going to showcase the final monster that can enable your combos that also supplements for weaknesses that the deck has. So I'm also going to be showcasing you guys the 3 copies of Vishuda that I'm main decking. The reason why I play Vishuda in this deck, it can still be summoned. So basically, if you control no effect monsters, you get special from hand. So it can still be summoned if you open Unexpected Die or go into Ondo off any play. And basically going second, what this card can do for you is bait 1 negate and leave a monster on field for you to make Test Panther. So you can bait 1 negate on your way into getting into Test Panther. And that for me is exceptional. And outside of that, going first, it's still going to be an active combo piece because it's an extender for you. Anytime you resolve Rabbit or just Unexpected Die or get anything that gets Ondo, because you still control no effect monsters because he's a normal, you can still freely special this and that can be combo for you. So Vishuda fills multiple niches, which is really, really clutch. So if you guys see how I'm explaining in the profile, it's really important to know the choke points and the weaknesses of the combo deck that you're playing, especially with Glad Beast being a combo deck that has choke points that a smart player would try to capitalize off of by trying to hit them in those choke points. But when you build your deck correctly, you can play around those problems. So going into the Glad Beast, I'm playing 3 copies of Ondo. We're obviously looping Ondo. Ondo's the strongest Glad Beast name, for the simple fact that it has synergy with other extenders that you can play like Rescue Rabbit and Unexpected Die and Link Spider. And because it's a Beast Warrior, you can also make your deck more consistent by playing cards like Tinky, and that makes Link Spider even more viable as a combo piece. So absolutely exceptional card. Doesn't need to have an effect for it to be busted. Continuing on with the Glad Beast, I played 2 copies of Augustus. I absolutely think that it's correct to play 2. I feel like 3 is like, oh, wow. Like, you know, you'll draw it sometimes and it just might not be good enough for you. But also at the same time, playing 1, it's just that thing where this is like a perfect 2-of. That's really what I would say. Augustus is like a perfect 2-of. It's not going to be a bad thing to play 1 or 3, but this is like the perfect ratio, honestly. We have 1 copy of Arturix. Arturix is extremely vital for your combos. It's essentially how you're making Tamer Editor without actually going through the lines of plays to actually get 2 level 5 or higher on field. You're just going to use Arturix to kind of cheat your way into that. And that's going to really help you to set up your future plays, which also why it's nice to play multiple Augustus at the same time. I played the 1 copy of Vespasius, however you pronounce it. This card's still exceptional. People still have to realize, like, back in 2008 when Gladiator Beasts were actually popping, the way this deck was able to accomplish anything was in the battle phase. That's why we play a card like Wabaku, so that we can resolve our effects. So this card helps you to play your deck the way it originally was intended to play, utilizing the battle phase as a way to get your effects to trigger so that you can tag into fusions by recycling your resources back into your main deck. So this card actually really helps you out in that sense. It actually is really exceptional at the start of the damage step. Being able to use that is very, very clutch for you. And it also puts a free level 5 or higher. And also its name is vital for certain fusions that you play. And then I play 1 copy of Darius. Darius is just insane, you guys. You want to make sure you're constantly actually shuffling this back into your deck so that you can keep bringing it out so that you can get that recursion effect, because this card just extends into crazy boards. I did not get an E-Quest, or A-Quest, however you pronounce it, E-Quest. The dude that sent me it did not have an E-Quest, so this is supposed to be the E-Quest that I just don't have right now. So I kind of just have this Dimikari here so that every time I see it, I know that it's E-Quest, if that makes sense to you guys. And then this card's debatable on ratios, but I play 1 Bestiari. You can honestly play more Bestiaris for the simple fact that it does let you tag in a Geyserist. And outside of like Dominatus and Heraklinos being so insane shutting down decks, Geyserist is one of your easiest ways to just break boards going second. Geyserist and cards like Access Code Talker and the Nightmare cards is just super duper strong. So I definitely, like I said, if I had Access Code Talker and like a Nightmare Unicorn, I'd probably play Unicorn, Access Code Talker. Because like going into Geyserist, Unicorn, and Access Code Talker, you could just break an entire established board. Even without Dark Ruler no more, because there's certain cards you play in the deck like this, like the Mystic Mind, that just bait negates so that you could just get into your combo, which is crazy. And the final Gladiator Beast monster that I'm playing is actually the Sagittari. I actually really like this card. I don't feel like I should cut it at all. When you get into side decking games 2 and 3, if you ever find yourself going first and you're side decking into Floodgates, Hand Traps, Artifact Package, Sanctum, things of that nature, this card allowing you to draw helps you to see your side deck cards. So in your combo, you can actually use this. And it's clutch because it is a winged beast, which is really, really important to actually be able to get you into the Zamorg Bird of Sovereignty. So it has double purpose, basically. It has dual utility. So your Beast Warriors are going to be Arcturus and Ondo. That's important because I do play Tinky in this deck. And the non-Glad Beast monsters that aren't extenders and are not necessarily combo pieces, they're just engine requirements. I play 1 Avian and 1 Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. So essentially, it was going to be Infinite Negate Lock and the Buster, the Destruction Sword. The Destruction Sword is really to play around Dark Ruler, but essentially, it was like, okay, now I can play around Dark Ruler by playing that, or I can actually play this card, which doesn't actually play around Dark Ruler, which is totally fine, but this does set up a powerful lock very similar to the Buster lock. And also, on the follow-up during the end phase, I can use the Zamorg Link to summon out my Avian from my deck so that I can go super aggro on my opponent. So I feel like when you get into games 2 and 3, that's where you would side this card out for the Destruction Sword so that you can play around Dark Ruler. But right now, it's just as impactful as the Destruction Sword because not only does it prevent your opponent from going to the extra deck, it dang near locks them out of their entire mechanic itself because no powerful decks are really like playing that many wind monsters these days. So this is a really, really strong card. The Zamorg Link also protects it, which makes it even more insane of a lock. And, the same thing with the Avian. It is a winged beast, so Zamorg can summon it. The cool thing with these, like I said, is once you set up with Stormwinds, because Dominatus protects the battle phase and the Storm, basically the Zamorg actually protects this from targeting. It's really hard to out it with the card without Dark Ruler, because obviously if they evenly match you, you could just keep this and then they still can't basically go attack over it. But essentially you could still go in phase Avian to summon him off from the deck because it's still a win, still under the restriction, and you'll have enough to go lethal against your opponent. So it's just like a cool idea. I'm still experimenting. Like I said, you can play the Infinite Negate Lock. You can play the Destruction Sword card. This is just a different idea I wanted to try out. I do value Omni Negates and I do value the Floodgate Locks to give this deck a more competitive viability. Because honestly, the negations it puts out are super strong, but I find that there are decks that are just so powerful they can actually play through 2 or 3 negates, And this deck, in a good hand, it could end on like Oppo, Dominatus, and Heraklinos, which is super duper strong. But you're not always going to end on that crazy board. Sometimes you can only end on 2 to 3, and decks can play through that. So I'd rather swap out 1 negation and trade it out for a Floodgate that can completely cripple their game. So now going into the spells, I'm playing 3 copies of Unexpected Die. This card's one of the strongest starters in the deck. Suffice to say, if you open this and Vishuddha, you're making Test Panther without normal summoning, which is very, very vital, you guys. It's very, very crucial that you're doing it without normal summoning because now you could still potentially use the Rescue Rabbit for a worst case scenario so that you can just link line, which is still effective. So Unexpected Die is crazy. And I will say, if they Ash Blossom Test Panther, it's like you could still use the other effect, which is crazy. Then we're playing 3 copies of Proving Grounds. It's basically like Emergency Call for this deck. It's a not once per turn Rhoda for the archetype. And then I do play 2 Tinkies, not 3, just 2, so that I can maximize into getting Arcturus or even Ondol if I need it. But Arcturus is kind of like crazy, you guys. That card's nuts. And then continuing on, so if you see these are deck thinners, enablers to get me to my combo pieces. I also play this card at 3, which is, some people it's debatable, but I actually think Rejection is insane, you guys. 3 copies of Rejection. Rejection has the most vital protection. Like I was saying, Imperm is really, really strong. It doesn't protect Test Panther and Rescue Rabbit. That's why I explained in the beginning of the video the interactions that you can use to play around those. And I feel like you should take that, memorize it, never forget it, and use the information I gave you to your advantage so you can kind of tweak your list to make sure you're not losing to those very, very popular staple hand traps. But this card absolutely allows you to dominate because once you get the Dominatius on the field, essentially it won't be able to be targeted as well. So when you're going for locks like that, your opponent can't imperm it to then just attack over, you know. Like, it's just crazy how many ways you can kind of put weird different soft locks on the board. This card's part of them, and also this card allows you to just go super duper critical mass, very aggressive spell. The card's insane, you guys. You get so much, a surplus of advantage. After you resolve at turn 1, everything after that, after turn 2 and 3, is just free advantage. It's paid for itself. You're just constantly going to snowball, link climb, get so many different fusions out. Rejection is just absolutely insane. It's not searchable. I absolutely would play 3 of it because your fusions can still be impermed. Even if, you know, for example, you were able to somehow get Test Panther, like, and it didn't matter, like, they impermed Test Panther, but you got out your fusion, you still want to make sure your fusions can't be veiled or impermed or anything of that nature. So I feel like this card's just way too important to not play at 3. It's one of the most vital combo pieces. And then I play 3 copies of Comeback. Why would you not play 3 this card? This card's insane. The restriction, like, of, you know, having different types is not really that difficult because a lot of the Gladiator beasts are all different types. Heck, you have a Sea Serpent. Like, you have Sea Serpents like Beast Warriors, Beast, like, it's just, you're all over the place with it. Wing Beast. So continuing on with cards that fit that is the Monster Reborn. Like I said, if I had successions, I would play them. I'm already proxying too much in this profile, so I'm not going to really do that, but I definitely would play like 2 or 3 successions just for the Rescue Rabbit interaction. And I honestly would probably be bold enough to play the Salamangreat Almarash literally just for that interaction so that my Rescue Rabbit can play through Imperm, which is crazy. The deck just really, it could play through probably every hand trap except Nibiru, which is like, you know, it is what it is. If they have it, they have it. So those are my Reborn cards. And then I play, for consistency protection, I play 3 copies of Called by the Grave, 1 Midfield Breaker, 1 Terraforming, basically to make sure, so Called by can't stop Imperm, and Imperm on Test Panther can just end your turn. Just like Imperm on Rescue Rabbit can just end your turn. It's your normal summon. You know, if you're lucky and you open, for example, like Unexpected Die and Rescue Rabbit, they could Imperm your Rescue Rabbit and you could still make Test Panther, but you don't always get that lucky. But I also took the Field Spell package even further. I'm playing 1 Set Rotation and 2 proxy copies of Mystic Mine. The reason why I played Mystic Mine was to make this Field Spell package versatile. Midfield Breaker is essentially for going first to make sure that my combo plays can go through. And for going second, I have the Mystic Mines to either bait negates or just summon a monster and sit on it and just keep poking for damage. Like, it really, for me, it doesn't matter. Either they're going to negate it or I'm just going to have a Mystic Mine. I really, like, for me, competitively, I don't care how much people, like, don't like this card. It's a really, really strong card, and it helps decks out like this. Because, honestly, Mystic Mine is just incredible, you guys. Its main purpose is for this deck to be able to bait negates going second. So cards like Mystic Mine and Vishuda are just really, really vital to make sure that if, you know, they have a Borreload Savage and an Arclight, you could easily bait both of them with Vishuda and Mystic Mine. So, yeah, that's going to be the main deck. Instead of hand traps, what I decided to do, if you notice, Vishuda and Mystic Mine could have been hand traps to make sure that I could stop my opponent going second, but instead, they're cards that are part of engines, that are vital combo pieces that benefit me going first and going second. So if you see the versatility where they have actual synergy with my main deck, because the Mystic Mine's part of a Set Rotation and Terraforming package, so I can consistently open the Midfield Breaker, and Vishuda, instead of a hand trap, is a card that's also a combo piece or a card that can bait and negate. So if you guys catch my drift, I'm basically still effectively allowing my deck to go second, just in a different way. People are just locked in this mindset where they think you have to have hand traps. So for the extra deck, I played 3 Test Panthers. You could actually play 2, but since I really didn't have the cards I need for extra deck, I figured why not play 3 Test Panthers until I get Access Code Talker, Appaloosa, IP Masquerena, and I think that's pretty much all I'm missing, honestly. The 1 copy of Cross Sheep, this actually is a combo extender for you. You want to actually link off your Tamer Editor so you can bring it back off comeback, and basically you're just going to Cross Sheep into more resources. It's crazy, you guys. And then we have the 1 Link Spider for Andal interactions, where you open Unexpected Die in like a Tinky or a Proving Grounds. Anything like that could be full combo without normal summoning, which is crazy, again. And then we play the 1 Monk. The Monk just allows Vishuda to bait interruptions, and also it's, again, you're baiting a negate and you're keeping a body on field, so all you need is just any extender or normal summon and you're good to go. We play the 1 Samorg. The Samorg Link is just, it's super duper utility for this deck. It can do a lot of different things, because I'll also keep in mind, you do actually play Wing Beast in your main deck, so it can even get you to your archetype cards. So as long as it stays in the field, you just keep generating so much advantage off of it. This card is the best card in the extra deck, honestly. 2 Tamer Editors. This is how you cheat your way into fusions that are naturally more difficult to make without it. Like, for example, Dominatus. Nobody really wants to use Vespasius and 2 Gladiator Beast monsters to make this card. It's much easier to use Tamer Editor. Go on this card. This card is insane, you guys. Dominatius is just a crazy, crazy strong boss monster. And suffice it to say, you could play 1 Geysers. I honestly am playing 2. I think when I get the cards I need for my extra deck, you could play 1, because you could reborn it off comeback. Its effect triggered if it's special summon. So you could loop it off comeback. You could actually contact fuse with it and essentially put it back. So, and you can also use Test Panther to basically put it back in your extra deck so you can summon it again. So you can actually loop Geysers and pop multiple cards in the same turn. You're not just going to get 2 pops. You can only get 4 to 6 depending on how many times you could summon it out. But right now, definitely 2 because this card is one of the easiest ways to go second. Super strong, but definitely could easily be cut for like access code. And Heraklinos is one of the strongest cards for you to make. Since I'm not doing the Dragluvion rank 8 package into Titanic, I feel like Heraklinos is that much more vital. Honestly, this card's better than Titanic Galaxy because he can negate spells and traps like evenly matched. And also, I get more than 1 negate out of him. And in addition to that, I already have Dominatus for the battle protection. And then I do play the 1 Abyss Dweller, you guys, for a generic card. So we're 20 minutes in. If you guys want to see Gladiator Beast combos, I could essentially just do an entirely separate video just for Gladiator Beast combos. Well, hopefully, you guys, this deck profile was informative for you. I hope you learned something. And at the end of the day, constructive criticism is always accepted, and I'm open to it. But I hope you guys appreciated this, and I'm going to say a quick prayer, and I'll be out. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Jesus. Thy kingdom come, and thy will be done on earth just as it is in heaven. Please give us this day our daily bread, Lord, and please forgive us of our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, Jesus, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the glory, and the power. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Thank you, Father. Amen. All right, you guys. Peace out, yo.